Hey everyone, and welcome to part 7, the last part of this Football Manager experiment where I swapped the English Premier League with the Vanarama Conference North and South, and all the other divisions were swapped around as well. I asked you guys in part 6 whether you wanted a part 7. I said if you can get it to 150 likes then I'll do a part 7 where I holiday another 10 years, and you completely blitzed that. You managed to get 250 likes. Very comfortable in the end. So I'm glad you've really loved this series. There's lots of you out there that have enjoyed it, found it very, very interesting. And I will be doing more and more of these series, similar series, hopefully in the coming days and weeks. If this video gets to, 200, 250 likes again, I'll do my best to try and get one up as soon as possible. I've got a couple of ideas in the pipeline. So if you've really enjoyed this series, it would be much appreciated if you gave this video a like as well. And to give me a bit of encouragement to keep going and do this again. Yeah, I've found it interesting myself, so more than happy to do similar things to this in the future. Now, some of you were asking if I could upload the actual save files rather than just the actual database, which I've uploaded to the Steam Workshop. If you haven't seen that already, check it out. You can subscribe, download it to your game, and then play it on the database from the beginning. But I've uploaded, I think, 6 save files from various points in this actual save that I've done, so you can have a look yourself. I've uploaded them to Mediafire. They're all in the video description below. They've got really long names, I'm sorry about that, but I've labelled them so you know which season it is. And all you need to do is add that to your Sports Interactive folder, which is found in my documents. There's a folder called Games. Just add them into there, and you should be able to load up the game, the actual saves, into your game. So I hope you find that interesting as well. So like I said, I have holidayed through 10 seasons. We're in June 2047, a long way into the future, but we're going to go up the division, see what's been going on, who's been winning the divisions, who's been relegated, who's been winning the cups, who's been winning the Champions Leagues. We'll have a look at the World Player of the Year. Someone asked me to do that, so I will do that as well, although they're just going to be regens, of course. But also it's quite interesting to see manager movements as well, because there's obviously real life players now in charge of teams, like we saw Raheem Sterling in charge of West Ham, sorry. Frank Lampard's been in charge of various teams over the years. This is the Vanarama Conference South. As you can see, the most recent one, Barnet and Swindon, were promoted. But let's have a look at the last 10 years or so, just so you can see who the winners have been. As you can see, Woking have been a yo-yo team. They've won it 3 times. Reading won it in 2039, so they're all the way down there. They've run it twice, in fact. And playoff winners, we've seen the likes of Swindon, Chelmsford, Bristol City, Reading again. There's been some yo-yo teams between the conference and the Conference South. Let's go up to the Conference North and see who has been winning these recently. Rotherham and Tranmere have just gone up, so they're all the way down there. Let's have a look at the recent winners. We've seen the likes of Blackpool, Preston, Boston, Oldham, Notts County, Port Vale up there, Rotherham. Tranmere have won the playoffs this year, of course. Rotherham as well, Coventry, Blackpool, those sort of teams still down there, struggling a bit. Going up to the Conference Premier, we've just seen Colwyn Bay win the Vanarama Conference. They of course started in the top division and went all the way down. Let's just have a quick look at them and their history in recent years. You can see they started in the Premier League in this save, were relegated quite soon, spent quite a few years in the Championship before eventually making it down to the Conference, but they've gone back up to the Football League after a few years in the Conference, so that's good to see. Well done, Colwyn Bay. Wigan also promoted in the playoffs. Any big teams down here? Not really. I mean, Coventry, Bristol City are down there, Oldham, Barnsley, Reading, the bigger names in that division. In recent years, we've seen Leeds get promoted, Hull as well, Gillingham, Crewe, Northampton, Peterborough. The playoff winners have been the likes of Preston, Gosport. Oh, I thought they were quite high up. In fact, they were. What on earth happened to them? Now, we remember in the last, I'm sure it was the last video, though, in fact, yes, they were in the Premier League. What on earth has happened to them? A massive plummet. So, 2037, where we left them, finishing sort of towards the bottom of the Premier League, but not relegation threat. then they were relegated 2038-39, relegated from the Championship, relegated from League 1, relegated from League 2. What on earth happened to them? Went back up, and then they're in League 2. But that is absolutely crazy. 4 relegations in a row, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, that really... I don't know if that's because they really are a team that should be down there in real life, and they've just had suddenly decided, oh, let's go back to where we should be. But that is crazy, a crazy decline for Gosport, because we saw them. I'm sure they won something. Can't quite remember. Did they won the Euro Cup in 2031? I thought that was right. They're runners-up in the Super Cup. They won the FA Cup in 2031. And the Capital One Cup, they were winners in 2037, which was the last time we saw them in the last update. That is mental. What a drop for Gosport. Poor old Gosport. We saw them doing so well. I had people in the comment section saying, hey, take control of Gosport, see if you can sort of lead them to glory. But yeah, massive decline. Anyway, let's move on. Up to the League 2. So Preston, Bolton, Exeter and Macclesfield are the latest teams to get promoted from that division. We've got the likes of Chorley down there, MK Dons, Leyton Orient, some big teams. North Ferriby all the way down there. Of course, they spent many years in the Championship. In fact, they only got relegated at the end of... in the 2037-38 season. Oh no, sorry, I'm getting confused. They were relegated all the way back then. They spent quite a few years then in the League 1 after, you know, mild success in the Championship, staying up for a long time. Eventually relegated from League 1, and now they've been in League 2 for the last few years. Poor old North Ferriby. It really is. Most of the teams are sort of made their way back up, haven't they? The teams you'd expect to make their way back up. Let's look at the recent winners then. We saw Hull win it in 2039, Bolton, Colchester, Preston, but we have seen teams like Bromley and Gateshead winning it. The runners up, you can see the likes of Leeds in there, Leicester, 3rd place going up, Whitehawk, we'll have a look at them we might as well look at them now actually. They're currently in League 1, they've made their way back up gradually after a big drop, of course, after much success earlier on. They're up to 2.5-star reputation. So they've gradually made their way back up after a massive decline. Okay, let's go up to League 1 then. So League 1 was won by Nottingham Forest recently, and Hull have gone up. They spent many years down there, that are stuck down in the depths of English football, but have eventually in the last 20 or so, 15 years, made their way back up. They spent quite a long time trying to get out of the conference after getting promoted once again up to the conference, eventually up to League 2, but then a quick succession, 2 promotions, conference then League 2, and spent many years in League 1 and have gone up this season. They don't have a manager though at the moment. 2.5-star reputation at the moment. Let's look at the recent winners and teams getting promoted. Sort of teams you'd expect to be in there, apart from Oxford City and Brackley, I suppose. Gloucester in there as well. No massive teams though. We have obviously all the really big typical teams are back in the top 2 divisions at least. Hayes and Yeading going down to League 2. That's sad to see, because that's the first time they've been outside the top 3 divisions on this save, after doing very well in the Premier League until a couple of videos ago. Then quite a few years in the Championship, relegated at the end of the last video, and then recently have been solid in League 1, almost getting promoted, getting up to 4th place that time, but now have been relegated. 2-star reputation, they've had a good history, they've won quite a few things. If we just have a quick look, they won the Premier League in 2015, the first team to do so, of course, on this save, on this experiment, and they also won the Community Shield, Johnston's Paint Trophy in recent years. Let's go back then and go up to the Championship. So, Hyde winning the league, winning the Championship, Ipswich second, and Oxford City going up via the playoffs. They've had a bit of a topsy-turvy few years. Premier League for many years, eventually relegated towards the end of the last video. Spent a couple of years in the Championship, down to League 1, back up, back up to the Premier League, back down to the Championship. They're a bit of a yo-yo team. Jordan Bowery is their manager at the age of 55 now. That is ridiculous. 3-star reputation team. Can't remember if they ever won anything. Let's have a quick look. They were runners-up in the Premier League in 2027. They've won the Championship once. They've won the league. They've won League One once. They've been a solid team on this, and they're back into the Premier League now. Let's look at the recent winners then. So we saw Palace win it, West Ham, Plymouth, Everton, Stoke, Fulham, Wolves, Everton, Hyde. Ipswich have been runners-up a couple of times. Playoff winners, mix of teams up there. Eastleigh, Everton twice, Portsmouth, Boreham Wood, Borough, Hartlepool, Huddersfield, Oxford City. Real mix of teams up there. And let's go up to the Premier League then and see. Oh, that looks interesting on the right hand side. But Liverpool most recently winning, Villa, Huddersfield and Everton going down. Let's look at the teams in here. Sheffield United up in second, and as you can see they actually won the league last season. That's crazy. Newcastle have won it again. Man United and Arsenal also in the top 4. Palace in 5th. Stoke, Man City, Southampton, Hartlepool up there. Southend, Chelsea down mid-table. West Brom, Wolves, Newcastle, Brighton, Fulham, West Ham, Aston Villa, Huddersfield and Everton. So none of the original teams that we put into the Premier League have survived and have stayed there the whole time. But of course we have seen Hyde and Oxford City go back up, so there are teams yo-yoing up and down between them. Let's have a quick look at Hyde. In fact, let's go back and just look at Hyde. So they've got a 3.5-star reputation. They've been mainly in the Premier League. They've been relegated a couple of times, but most of the time they have been in the Premier League. So in fact Hyde, the longevity of this save, Hyde have been the most successful team. I don't know if they've won much. We'll have a quick recap. They won the Premier League, of course, 2019. I forgot about that. They won the Championship a couple of times. But they have won the Premier League. And that is really good. They've won the FA Cup as well, and the Capital One Cup in 2038. So that's a recent one. But they may not have won the most out of the teams that were originally put into the Premier League on this experiment, but they have, in longevity terms, been the most successful team, I would say, because they've been in the Premier League the most. They've only been relegated a couple of times, and they're back up there now. Chris Franklin is their manager. It doesn't look great, and their finances are secure. Let's look at their key player, Donald Reid, a Scotsman. He looks good. 74 caps for Scotland. He's 35. He looks solid, especially still at the age of 35. He's doing very well considering. Well done to Hyde then. So if you download the latest save game from the files I've uploaded, I think I've uploaded the one that's just finished now, 2047. So you could actually take control of Hyde, see if you can keep them up in the Premier League and lead them to glory. That would be an interesting challenge. I really hope you find those saves interesting. Yeah, let me know. But also let me know how you're doing with my database. I know it's had plenty of downloads. It was in the top 5 most subscribed or viewed thing on the workshop for a long old time. So if you can get it back up there by clicking on the link in the description below, that would be good too. If you haven't downloaded it, really make sure, because some people have really had a lot of fun on it already. So, and I may actually do a save on it at some point in the near future. We'll see. So let's look at the most recent winners of the Barclays Premier League since 2013. Man United won it 2039, but Arsenal have won it 3 times. Chelsea have won it twice, and Newcastle have won it once again. That's their 2nd Premier League title. But the biggest, obviously, surprise is Sheffield United winning it. So, in a way, I don't know if this may have happened anyway without divisions being swapped around. I don't know what impact swapping all the divisions around has actually had on Sheffield United. They did go up to the Premier League a couple of times, became a yo-yo club, and it's only in the last 13 years that they've been a solid Premier League team, and then maybe got a bit of money. They're rich, of course, as you can see, and they've won the league once and finished 2nd this season, so they are challenging. Their manager is this guy, who's really not that great, but he's an Dutch international. Their captain is Simon Watts, who is an England international, 33 years old. Let's see their key player. It's Joel Johnson. At the age of 23, he looks like a good English international as well. Very good player, versatile. And their hot prospect of this guy, Marko Radakovic, 1 cap for Serbia. He looks alright, doesn't he? Good centre back. So I don't know how we've impacted upon the save. I mean, Southend, of course, have become a Premier League team as well. If we just click on them. Nope, we can't click on them. Oh, here we go. Oh, no. Here we go again. So they've got 3.5 star potential. Their finances are secure. They've been a bit of a yo-yo team. Got promoted last season and back in the Premier League. Finished 10th this season. I don't know if it's resulted in less of a difference between the teams in the Premier League and the Championship, because they do seem to go up and down quite a lot and then finish reasonably high. Let's look at Man City and see finances wise, because they've been up and down as well. Well, no, they haven't actually. They were before this point, but they've not been a top Premier League team. They haven't won the league every year. This is their manager, Nicky Ajos. And Chelsea, all the way down in mid-table despite winning the league. So there seems to be a bit more variety now. And they are rich still, 4.5 star reputation. But of course they finished 11th this season, which isn't that great. The competition reputation was first for a while, but it's dropped down all the way down to 5th in recent years. No, 4th, sorry. Which is strange, but I guess that's just natural fluctuation. Let's look at the clubs and the coefficients. Are there any English teams up there? The CSKA Moscow is the top team. That's really weird. Man United and Arsenal are up there. As a Chelsea. Sheffield United all the way up in 28th. We'll look at the European competitions, FA Cups in a minute. Liverpool up there, Newcastle. We've got Fulham, Palace, Southampton, Tottenham. That's what the teams you'd expect, I guess. Finances wise, the richest club in the world is Chelsea. In fact, the top 3 are English clubs. So they've, despite being in the bottom division for a while and going all the way up the divisions, they've become dominant again, haven't they? Sheffield United up in 8th, West Ham above Man City, Fulham all the way up there in 27th. Let's look at West Ham then, because they're above Man City now. They're rich, 3.5 star. Oh, they've got Max Power in charge. What a name as well. Legend, 53 years old now. Looks awful as a manager. Some really awful managers on here. This is their captain, Bosnian player. So if you download this save, you can have a look in more detail at the clubs and their history yourself, and I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun looking at things, spotting things out. Let me know in the comment section below. If you download the save, load it up, let me know if you find anything really interesting, and put it in the comments for people to laugh at maybe, or just if you see something really interesting. Let's see the top transfers in the world. This isn't the top transfers in the world, is it? I'm not sure why. Not sure why it's not showing that. Oh well, I think we had a problem with that before, didn't we? FA Cup, most recent ones, won by West Ham, 3-2 against AFC Fylde. Now what happened to them? Because they were really high up at one point, weren't they? Maybe in the Championship. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, they actually only got relegated last season, so they were very successful. So maybe you could argue they were more successful than Hyde. Looking at them. Of course, they went down early on to the Championship. Went back up, went down again, went back up. So let me know in the comment section below, who do you think was the most successful team out of the teams that started in the Premier League? Perhaps AFC Fylde, perhaps Gosport, who were relegated all the way down, of course, but probably not Gosport then, is it? You could say Hayes and Yed in Whitehawk, but maybe between AFC Fylde and Hyde. Oxford City, of course, who just got promoted. And what did they win over the years? They won the Euro Cup 3 times. They won the Premier League once. They won the FA Cup. No, they were runner-up in the FA Cup. Winners of the Capital One Cup. So, yeah, let me know in the comment section below who you think was the best team from the original teams that started in the Premier League on this experiment, because AFC5 did very well. Forgot about them actually, because they were relegated. And they did get to the FA Cup final, of course, but 3 Euro Cups is very, very good for them. Let's see the recent winners then. So Man United, Arsenal, Brighton, Sheffield United, Spurs, Fulham, Southampton, Man United, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United and West Ham. Runners up, we've got Boreham Wood in there, West Ham, Middlesbrough, AFC Fylde. Interesting stuff. West Ham's first FA Cup win since 1980. All those, 67 years ago now. Wow. Let's go down to the League Cup then, which was won by Man United against Chelsea. Southampton have won it twice. They've done well in recent years. So Hyde, 2038, that's good to see. West Ham won it in 2039. Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Villa at Arsenal. You can see the rest. Runners up, we've got Plymouth up there, which is great to see. Gosport, of course, runners up there and suddenly plummeted massively from then on. Wolves, runners up in 2046. Community Shield, recent winners. Sheffield United have won it twice. Going down to the Johnston's Paint Trophy, which was won by Bradford on penalties against Bromley. These are the recent winners and runners up. Sorry. Okay, this is the FA Trophy, which is named wrong on this game. We've got the likes of Bury Wildstone. Now, what happened to them? They are now in the Conference South. Yeah, they got promoted back up and relegated. Not good for them. They obviously had a very good start. Winning the league, they're runners up in the Premier League the first season, but they were successful. They won the FA Cup, they won the League Cup, they won the Cup double, of course. Then it all went wrong for them. So let's look at the Champions League in recent years. Who has won it? So PSG won it this year. No English clubs though winning it. CSK Moscow have dominated in recent years. Real Madrid runners up 3 years in a row. That is unlucky. Arsenal were runners up in 2041. Let's go down to the Euro Cup, which Man United have won. We've seen a few English winners of this. Arsenal won it. Man United won it. So Liverpool and Newcastle runners up. AFC Fylde runners up to Arsenal in the 2038 Euro Cup. Unlucky. They were... I think, actually, did AFC Fylde... They didn't win it 3 times. They were runners up 3 times, weren't they? I read that wrong. Yeah, runners up 3 times. That is unfortunate for them. Unlucky AFC Fylde. Let's go to the World Cup. So Germany beat England 2-1 in the latest final. So recent winners, well, the winners since the start of this, so we've seen Italy, Uruguay, Argentina, Brazil, Italy, France, Argentina, Germany. No unexpected winners there. England, runners up 4 times. USA, runners up twice. That is really unlucky for England. Imagine being runners up 4 out of the last 6 World Cup finals. Unlucky England. Let's look at the team then. What's going on with England? This guy's in charge. Paulo Alves, a 37-year-old Portuguese guy. The managers are really random. Like, you wouldn't see that guy in charge of England nowadays, would you? That is bizarre. He was born in 2009. That is scary. 6 years old in real life. Obviously not a real person. Paul Parker is their top player. What? Interesting. He's been reborn as he is a white man. So look at, see what teams are in there. Paul Parker. Always click on the wrong one, don't I? So we've got typical teams you'd expect. Sheffield United have a couple of players in there. Yeah, it's back to the way it usually is, apart from Sheffield United having a couple of players in there. Palace. Let's look at Danny Robinson. Looks decent. Let's see who's got the biggest value. It's Joel Johnson, Sheffield United player, 23 years old. We've seen him already. And also Darren Levisedge. Plays for Chelsea. Looks very good. Eric Fletcher, I think I've seen his name floating around top scorers list. So Arsenal player, 24 goals in 44 games for England. Let's look at the history, look at the records and that sort of thing. All-time top scorer is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. 69 goals in 158 caps. Wow. Top goal scorer. Most goals in a match. Malcolm McDonald versus Cyprus, 9 goals. Highest average rating. This is interesting. It's good stuff, isn't it? That was the youngest player, Mark Knowles, who's now retired. How many caps did he get? 20 something. Fastest goal, Danny Welbeck. What happened to him then? He's manager of Northern Ireland now. 40 goals in 112 games for England. Well, if you download the latest save, have a look, because there's some fascinating things in here. Wayne Rooney's the head of youth development at Torquay. 61 years old now. It's crazy how far into the future we are. Torquay dropped down to League One now. They were quite high up. He's awful. He really is. Head of youth development. 10. It's quite funny, this, isn't it? All-time top goal scorer. So Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain overtook Bobby Charlton in 2024. 51 goals. What a player. But that's because I think he moved on really early. Moved to PSG, didn't he? And he wasn't stuck in the lower divisions. Maybe that helped him. So these are the recent World Players of the Year. You can see a lot of Arsenal players in there. Let's look at this guy, Richard Riadi. He's now manager of Sheffield United. We can't actually see how good he was. Let's look at the most recent winners. This is Mehmet Aksoy, a German, who's the World Player of the Year for 2046. Kevin Romero, where's he from? He's from Spain. Wow. 105 caps for Spain at the age of 34. Branko Prokic. Let's look at him. See if he's any good. He's an Arsenal player as well. 31 years old now. 91 caps for Serbia. Looks very good. Let's have a quick look at World Golden Ball. It's probably similar winners. Yeah, same sort of people in there as you'd expect. World Team of the Year. Mix of players. Sheffield United player in there. Well, I hope you've enjoyed. Well, if you're at this stage of this, I'm sure you have enjoyed the series. So thank you for watching. Please leave a like. Please leave your thoughts and any interesting things you've spotted in this video or in the saves in the comment section below. Let's try and crack 200 likes again for the end of the series. And I shall see you in a future FM experiment very soon. I will be doing lots of interesting things like this again. Perhaps doing an actual career on one of these databases. Yeah, we'll see. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.